All right. Oh, I forgot to plug in we're live, but I forgot to plug in the microphone.
Howdy, howdy.
Let's see if I can get this plugged in. There we go. That'll be better.
Old man thing.
Do your old man thing. Hello, everybody. Thought we'd do a surprise St.
Like
Patrick.
Captain Caveman looking through my glasses.
Captain Caveman. Thought we'd do a surprise live about St. Patrick today, since it is St. Patrick's Day. So why do we celebrate St. Patrick's Day? Here we go. Gary's going to tell us.
Is anybody in here yet?
No, nobody's in here yet.
We're going to do this live and with the intention on people being able to go back and watch it again.
Right. It's not going to be very long.
So, Patrick was a pretty important character in history.
Yes.
In the history of Ireland.
Yes.
In the history of the church.
Yep.
Definitely a big part of church history. Patrick was born in England.
Yes.
Patrick was not Irish.
No.
That
St.
might
Patrick.
shock a lot of people.
Yeah. He was British.
He was British. And he was born in probably the end of the 4th century.
Yeah.
End of the 4th century, 390 or something like that.
They think 385 to 390.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was born into a fairly wealthy family.
Yeah.
He was born into a family of believers.
Yes.
But he probably didn't take his faith very seriously. When he was about 16,
Yeah.
Is that correct?
His mid-teens, yep.
In his mid-teens, his home country was raided by Irish raiders.
Yeah.
And these big scary guys that came over and took people captive, and it was crazy. And his home was raided, and he was captured, and he was taken back to Ireland and sold as a slave. And he was sold as a slave, and ended up, most of his duties as a slave was herding sheep and herding pigs.
Mm-hmm.
He tended livestock.
Yep.
And so he spent a lot of time alone. And Patrick in that time.
But his name wasn't Patrick.
Yeah, his name wasn't Patrick. It was Maewyn Socket.
Maewyn Socket.
And he was, in that time, he was very afraid, very lonely. He didn't even speak the language.
Nope.
And so he began to pray. He remembered the things he was taught about Jesus, and he began to pray constantly. In fact, he said that he...
Hello, Susan.
Hey.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. I don't have on anything green except for my eyes.
I got on green.
Gary's got on green. But I just got out of bed about an hour ago, so I'm still in my PJs.
But Maewyn Socket, Patrick, he began to pray, and he said that he estimated that he prayed over 100 times a day in that time, and he began to have this deep, meaningful relationship with Jesus that was completely sustaining and brought him peace.
Awesome. Glad you're learning something. Welcome, Susan.
And he was in a pagan land, in a foreign land where they worshiped different gods.
Right.
There was animism or paganism, and he learned to speak the language, and he was there for quite a while. And in his prayer time, he would often have things become clear to him. God would let him know things. And one night in a dream, he let him know that he needed to walk to the coast. And so he was led to the coast by this dream that God had given him. He was led to the coast. He got on a boat, and it took him back to England.
Yep. Wow.
And he went home. And so he escaped after a long time of slavery. At that point, spoke the Gaelic language very well. And when he got home, he decided to dedicate his life.
Just think green. Yes, we'll just think green.
He began to dedicate his life to the church. And he felt called to be a leader in the church. And he was trained. And one night when he was going through that process, he had a dream. And in that dream, he could hear someone praying in Gaelic and praying that God would send somebody to teach them about Jesus. And he knew that he was that person. And so he went back to England or to Ireland.
Yeah.
He went back to Ireland. He, the place where they had taken him as slave. He wasn't always treated fairly. He had been, taken there unjustly. And he went back there to share with them the love of Jesus Christ. And when he got there, he wasn't necessarily received very well. In fact, he was invited to one of the kings, and Ireland was a lot different. It had several little kind of kingdoms or little territories and little rulers. And one of them invited him to his banquet hall for a big meal. And they gave him a drink. And as he drank it, they all watched. And they had poisoned his drink. And he drank it. And nothing happened to him. And they got his cup. And they looked, and the poison was all frozen in the bottom of the cup. He had been miraculously protected.
J. Grandiose. I've said that wrong. Granados. Good morning. Sunrise is a great time to pray and welcome a new day and thank God for one more day. God's blessings. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Yes, you're absolutely right. It is. And we're having a beautiful sunrise. We can see it out the east window here. Yeah, it is a great day to pray. We often start our day off with, well, I say often, we always start our day off with prayer and Bible study. So, yeah.
And Patrick was, at that point, was called himself Patrick. When he became leader of the church, he took on the name Patrick.
Yep.
And he went and began to share the Christian faith in Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior to pay for our sins. And he was greatly opposed by the Druids, which were the pagan priests.
I don't think I let you finish that the drink was poisoned, but he didn't.
Yeah, he was miraculously delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he, So the Druids opposed him, his teaching that not to worship the rocks and the stones and the false idols and crouch and not to, and in that pagan worship there was definitely human sacrifice and different things like that. And he greatly opposed that. And he taught about Jesus being the sacrifice that was needed for us.
Julia. Just Julia. Thank you, Julia.
And so they kind of had it out for him. And there's several times he was miraculously delivered. Buildings set on fire that he was in, and he walked out of them. Poison being frozen in the bottom of cups, different things like that. And he had a showdown with them where it
was very much like Elijah and the prophets of Baal.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he basically, they went to capture him and they couldn't move.
Yeah.
Kind of like something happened with Jesus in the New Testament. And so he began to get favor in the eyes of the people, and they began to embrace Jesus and fall in love with Jesus. And eventually he ran the Druid leaders out of Ireland. And if you've ever heard that Patrick ran the snakes out of Ireland, it wasn't really snakes. It was the snakes.
Yeah.
Druid leaders. And so Patrick started churches all over Ireland, and Ireland became a place of deep, rich Christian faith because Patrick was willing to go to a people that had enslaved him and captured him and tell them about Jesus. He was willing to love those who hadn't loved him.
Right.
And so today I want to read you this verse out of Luke. It says, "But I say to you who hear," this is Luke 6:27 and 28. "But I say to you who hear, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, and pray for those who mistreat you." And that's exactly what Patrick did. And today, as you celebrate St. Patrick's Day, definitely enjoy the day. Enjoy the celebration of a great saint, a great believer who was willing to follow Jesus into tough places. Celebrate him. Remember that this is about him and not about some green drink.
Or leprechauns.
Or leprechauns. And that's funny to me because, yeah, anyhow. But anyhow, so remember that it is about a great believer, a follower of Jesus who was willing to go into tough places to share the hope that we have in Jesus Christ. Also, we're going to eat some corned beef and cabbage, which is Irish American kind of dish.
Right.
But we're going to eat that today. Whether you do that or whether you drink a little bit of a drink that was made in Dublin, however you celebrate it. But remember that we are celebrating a man who is willing to love those who hated him,
just as Jesus was.
And I hope you take time today to pray for those who don't care for you. Take some time today to pray for those who would mistreat you, and to treat them with love and kindness. And remember Patrick's example.
Yeah, it is a great story.
Yes. Yep.
Thanks. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome, Susan. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah.
We just wanted to come on here today and talk to you guys for a minute about Patrick.
And I will be videoing, making my corned beef and cabbage. I have to tell you a funny story. So we were in Aldi yesterday. Hannah and I went shopping, and we were in Aldi yesterday, and Hannah goes, "You're buying meat?" And I said, "Yes." And she says, "Why?" And I said, "Because I didn't save a brisket back to cure to make corned beef and cabbage with. And so I have to buy a cured brisket." And so she was just floored. She's like, she said, "We have 2 freezers of meat at home, Mom." So yeah, I had Hannah going. She was like, "What in the world?"
Damn, flip her lid.
Yeah, she thought Mama done gone crazy. I'm gonna have to text my brother and sister and tell them Mama's slipping. Oh goodness.
Yeah, and another thing is the reason we celebrate on March 17th is that is the day that Patrick died.
Yes.
In the 5th century.
Yes.
March 17th. 460, I think.
They think it was 460. Yeah.
460.
Somewhere around 460. Yep.
He died in Ireland.
Yep. And so yeah, so we celebrate his sacrifice, and there's a whole lot of his life that reminds me of Christ's life.
Oh, absolutely.
Just a whole lot. He dedicated his life to loving people that didn't love him. And
he did his best to follow Jesus.
Yep, he did. And that should be a goal of all of ours, to look at our forerunners, our forefathers, even though, Patrick probably didn't have children. Right. Because of his vows that he took. But
that was actually before that teaching.
Was it before that teaching?
But there's no record of him having.
Okay. But we should look at those that came before us, and we should look at Christ ultimately, and use their stories to help us grow closer to Christ. Yes. That's what they would want.
And like Paul would say, we need to follow them as they follow Christ.
That's it. That's it.
So there are definitely flaws and things there that we wouldn't want to do, but the parts where they are following Jesus, we need to use their example.
Awesome, Julia. Yeah, Hannah really thought I'd lost it. She couldn't believe I was buying meat. And then I got to Walmart, and Aldi only had 1 corned beef left. And in our area, the corned beef is 1. You can only if you buy corned beef, prepackaged corned beef at your grocery store or Walmart or Aldi or whatever, it's only 1. They're all the same brand. And
you usually can only get corned beef around
St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day. You can buy pastrami.
Yes, you can buy pastrami.
Which is, I think, a smoked corned beef.
Yes, it's instead of it just being still in the solution, it's smoked. So yeah, and so we got to Walmart, and it was cheaper at Walmart, but I bought the last one they had at Aldi. But anyway.
Thanks, Frugal Farmer. Good to see you here.
Thank you. Be careful on your way to work, and have a blessed day. But yeah, so we will be having some, and I do my corned beef like a roast. So I'll put it in the crock pot here in a little bit so we can have it for supper. And then I'll put in about lunchtime, I'll put in potatoes and carrots and onion and maybe a little celery. And then I'll also bake a loaf of Irish soda bread.
Mm-hmm.
And
Gotta like that.
yes, that's exactly right. The golden rule. Do unto others as you want to be treated. Yep. Treat those around you like you want to be treated. Yeah. And
you would have them treat you.
have them treat you. Yep. So, yeah.
Jesus taught that in Matthew.
He sure did.
Yep.
And that goes with the love your neighbor. He said the two greatest commandments were to love God and to love your neighbor as yourself. And so, to love God with all you have and are, and to love your neighbor as yourself. And so if we can do those two things, he says that everything else will fall into place. That doesn't mean our lives will be perfect, because he also said that if people hated him, they're going to hate us even more.
Yeah.
But we should still love them.
Yep. No slave is greater than his master.
That's right. That's right.
And in Luke, where it says to love those who hate you, he says the same thing also in Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew, he says basically that same thing. And with that, in that statement where he's teaching in Matthew, that's where he says to treat others as you would have them treat you.
Yeah.
And that's where the golden rule comes from, is actually right the next verse after love those who hate you.
Yeah. Hello, believe on the cross. How are you doing?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do believe on that cross.
Our hope and our everything
Mm-hmm.
that we are centered around is around Jesus' sacrifice on the cross. So that's an awesome name. And the pressure cooker.
She's going to do that so she can take it to her sister's work for her.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Here in
Kansas.
Kansas, there's some people that celebrate it that way. It's not as heavily celebrated. When we were in Wyoming, which was a lot more Catholic influence probably, but man, everywhere had corned beef and cabbage. Even gas stations that didn't normally serve hot food would have a slow cooker full of corned beef and cabbage on St. Patrick's Day. I mean, that was...
Well, there's not as much. It's mainly German and Swedish influence here for ancestry in this area, in our area where we're at right now. And so that may be why.
There's a lot of Hispanic influence.
There's a lot of Hispanic influence, yes. But the set, yeah. So we kind of, but we have had, I did not grow up eating corned beef and cabbage on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, we did some.
You do?
Not all the time. My grandma Adkins made it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember Grandpa and Grandma Cargill doing that much. But Grandpa and Grandma Adkins, she would make that, and I remember that. And sometimes Mom would make it at home. Yeah.
And I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue if I have any Irish ancestry. I'm just a mutt. I mean, I've got a little bit of everything, I think.
I might.
He might. Whatever. Giant leprechaun here. But Julie was a truck driver for many years. And it all depends on where you live.
Yeah,
I think so. I think it really does depend upon just the culture that you're around and what their ancestry was, or what they have added to their culture, to their present culture.
Yeah. Sometimes we take on things that are meaningful to us, even though they aren't in our necessarily our ancestry.
We like Hispanic food. We like a lot of Mexican food, and that's not necessarily in either one of our cultures, but we like that.
Hey, Arizona Highland Homestead.
Hey, Nick, are you going live here in a little bit, buddy? We tried to do this early enough we wouldn't interfere with your live.
I've got to go.
Yeah, just to pay tribute to the Irish. Yeah, we mainly, Gary is Irish, and we've mainly, as a family, done it to pay tribute to St. Patrick.
This is Howells. I think that was supposed to be Heinz 57.
Yeah, Heinz 57.
I think Cindy's pretty much that too. And I kind of am too.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely several. And there's some things that I know are there, and probably some things I don't know are there. My mom did some ancestry, and it
was kind of inconclusive.
And it revealed some things that maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's accurate or not, you know.
I would be interested to know mine. Just, yeah. But
I do know that I have Scottish ties for sure with my last name.
Yeah.
And I know for sure which ancestors came here, where they came from. And that's Scotch-Irish, which basically he was made to go to Ireland and then said, I'm going to the colonies.
Yeah. Yeah. Ended up going to the colonies.
And then
for religious persecution. That's how Gary's branch of the Cargills got here.
Yep.
Yeah. Way back when, in like the 1700s.
I know that I have Scottish, Irish, and Cherokee ancestry. And
for sure.
And the Cherokee, it's not, I don't have a roll card or anything. It was hard for them to get good documentation on that, but that's the family story anyhow, and the pictures show that probably to be true. So.
Yes, autocorrect is crazy. And then the ones I know is that I know for sure. My grandmother was German, my granny on my dad's side, and then I'm sure there was English and on my mom's side.
Mountain Maple Ranch, I've been up for a couple of hours now. Made coffee, read some articles, read the Bible, prayed.
Yeah. I didn't get up till
with some other things.
I didn't wake up till 6 and didn't get out of bed till 6:15. I just laid there for a little while.
I probably should be out doing chores right now, but
I gotta gather the cow and get the calf on her. Hey, Elijah. But yeah, so anyway.
Backlash Fisherman, hello, good morning. Mountain Maple Ranch, Arizona Highland, Elijah Brammell. There's several people I probably haven't said hi to and just responded to, but glad you're here.
Backlash Fisherman, yeah, we're doing great. How are you?
Have they ever been in ours?
I think so.
Okay, I know I've heard them on like Nick's and a few others.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've come over.
Okay, cool. Glad you guys are here.
And we're gonna have to get going here because Nick should be going live at Arizona Highland, and we don't want to interrupt that. And we've got chores to do.
Yeah, and I've got some pretty tough things to handle today.
Yes. So pray for Gary.
I may have to do a video about that at some point, but I need to be ready to do that.
Yeah. So pray for him. And sometimes the stewardship of animals is a hard thing. It's 6:30. Wish I was more of a morning person, but 6 just is just perfect for me. Yep. That's about my time too.
Yeah.
6.
It's 7:30 here. We're in a different time zone than you are. I usually get up before 5. That's pretty typical.
I'm good. I think I've been here before, but didn't catch you much. Yeah, I think so. Been up all night.
Hospice patient. I'm sorry to hear that.
I hope you get a nap today, and bless you. Hospice workers are amazing. We have a very, very dear friend that is in the end stages of her life, and we've been dealing with that, and that's been a really, really hard thing for her family to watch her. But it's a blessing, and they feel blessed to have hospice for her to be able to be at home and be with her family in this time. So thank you, Julie, for your sacrifice and for your love and your care. And I cannot rave enough about hospice workers. You guys are amazing. Hello, Mr. Charles.
Yeah, we've got a friend that's not doing well, and like Cindy said, and has hospice in there. It probably won't be long. And another death in our life and a long time ago has been on my mind a lot lately. And then yesterday, I believe there's a difference between human death and animal death. I do. When I read Genesis, I believe that we were made a little different than the animals, that God breathed the breath of life in us and gave us an eternal soul. And that's a little different than the animals. Animals are still very important, should be respected, are made by God, but not in his image like we are, but made for his purposes.
Yes. And
yesterday I had to deal with death way more than I wanted to. And knowing that we had a family friend passing away in that process right now, and dealing with the animal's death. I'm going to tell you, I stood at the back of a feed truck and bawled over a dead calf yesterday. And today I probably got to go put a cow down, and that's tough. And a lot of times we don't share that part on here because,
It's hard.
Yeah.
And I've been blessed that Gary does most of that. He spares me of that. That's a sacrifice he makes for me, and puts animals down because I can't. And so many times that is the kindest thing we can do for them.
Yeah. And like I said, I think there's a difference between humans and animals. Humans, I think that due to their eternal soul, that's a little different deal. But I hate it when I come upon a situation that I don't know what to do. And I dealt with a cow yesterday that I didn't know what to do, and I did everything I knew to do, and then I got a hold of the owner, and he said, yeah, I kind of knew that was coming. I think you did everything you could. I don't know what to do. And cow is probably old, and so.
Yeah. Back. I'm sorry for your friend, loss of your friend. That's hard. Thank you, Julie, for giving that family a break. Oh, so it's 5:30. So Nick
okay. So he doesn't.
He may not be going live for a little bit.
Yeah.
And Nick's praying for you.
Yeah. Appreciate that, Nick.
Good morning, Brian.
One of the big
Thank you,
things,
Charles.
I definitely have to deal with the death, but also it's not my cattle. It's a guy that I help, and I want to handle that in a way that's a good witness, and in a way that is viewed well. And I'm sure this guy's been rancher all his life, grew up on a big ranch, and it's no big deal. It is a big deal because it's a loss, but it is not something that he's never had to deal with before. In fact, this is the fourth cow that's died this winter.
Yeah. So Julie says they just laid her nephew's aunt to rest yesterday. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Julie, for praying for us. Oops, I missed that. It skipped. Yeah. Oh. Good morning, Chuck.
We got on here to talk about
St. Patrick.
And we did.
And
if you haven't watched that, please go back and watch the beginning.
Yep. So,
We talked about Patrick's life and why we celebrate St. Patrick's Day, what our focus should be today.
And if the rain holds off, I'm planting onions.
We've got our taters planted already.
Yeah.
And I know that I saw on Southern Blessed, or not.
Is it Southern Patty?
Yeah, Southern Blessed live the other night that maybe I planted them at the wrong time, that you have to plant them at 11:57 on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, goodness.
But I've got them planted.
Yeah, we did we say hi Mountain Maple Ranch? I don't remember. I think we did.
We did.
Okay, good.
I did.
You did good. But so I messed up, y'all. I saved seed. We had last year, was it last year or year before? I planted Alsa Craig onions. I started them from seed, had a few survive, and planted them. And I had one that went to seed, and I saved the seeds. They did fantastic for our area, and we've really struggled to find a nice big slicing onion for our area that would grow well. And that one did.
What did one hat say to the other?
Oh, no.
Anyway. It said, "Good morning, Brian." Okay.
But anyway, so I saved the seeds and started the seeds this year, and they sprouted really well, and they were doing fabulous. And I put them out in the greenhouse because they could handle a little bit of cold. Well, guess what I did? I put them out in the greenhouse all right, but I didn't water them. I didn't turn the heater on, and I lost most of those onions. I think I'm going to be able to have one or two
Save some seeds again.
to try to say, and hopefully one of them will survive and go to seed.
Yeah.
So, oh goodness, I was just very upset with myself. So I went to Bluestem yesterday and got some onion plants, you know, not the sets, not the little bulbs, but the plants, because I want onions, not just a little green onion.
If you guys don't know that,
Yeah.
when you get the little bulbs in the bag at Walmart or whatever, they are a year-old onions or a season-old onions. And when you plant them, they will be more likely to go to seed, and they won't store as long, and they'll have a hollow spot in them from that seed stem. And so if you buy the plants, the little green onion starts, they are just planted in the fall. Seed starts from seed, and they will produce a better onion. And if you're wanting the bulb,
If you want a larger bulb,
the little bulbs, the sets are great for green onions.
and the little ones with the onion sets, the little bulbs, they will produce, some of them, a nice sized little onion. It won't store well and won't keep as well because of that hollow spot, and because their main goal is, because onions are biannual, their main goal is to go to seed.
Yeah.
So
thanks, Susan Lee.
Thanks,
for being
Susan.
in
Have
here.
a
We'll
blessed
see you
day.
later.
But anyway, so I went a little crazy and bought some onions.
Nick, you're killing me with the suspense. Surely Good Morning Brian wasn't the, wasn't the punchline to that joke.
But yeah, I just bought a few. I think I bought 5 bunches of onions to plant.
That's all right.
And so, yeah, we love onions though.
You stay here. I'll go on ahead. I love it. I love it. So a man went into a psychiatrist's office and talked to the receptionist, and he talked to the receptionist, and then she went back to see the psychiatrist and said, "There's a man here to see you, and he's in really bad shape. He needs your help." And he said, "What? We're pretty busy. What's the matter with him?" And she said, "He thinks he's invisible." And the psychiatrist said, "Go tell him we can't see him."
Oh my goodness. Oh, what a mess. What a mess. What a mess. But yeah. So Nick, are you going live at 8 o'clock your time or 8 o'clock our time?
I think when we catch him at 8 o'clock, it's usually 8 o'clock our time. I think Arizona's mountain time, but then they don't change.
So he's actually 2 hours behind us.
They don't change for daylight savings.
Because he said it was, there goes, speaking of our friends, there goes her husband. He said he was going to the VA yesterday and today. So
and he honks for a quarter mile by.
He starts, actually, it's more than a quarter mile. So we have a big hill. We're on a hill. He starts at the between the hills that's to the north of us, the hill that's to the north of us, and our hill. So he tops our hill honking, and he stops at the bottom of our hill.
So the whole hill is honking.
he's honking for almost half a mile. It's funny. But he has broke his neck twice, and so he can't turn his head.
Oh.
Yeah.
He says, "I have no idea when I will go on."
Okay.
Whenever you feel it. That's what we did today.
That's what we did. But yeah, so we just,
Is it dad joke day?
Yes, it's dad joke day. You got one, Brian? We love dad jokes, just so you know. Oh, me.
Yeah.
I think
corny jokes.
I think my favorite one lately has been the one that I totally lost it. Tom told at work the other day.
Okay.
About a month or so ago, Tom told us, my boss, he said that he was reading a letter from his mom that his mom had wrote to his brother. And and I've told this joke before, but I love it. I love this joke. It's a riddle. So what do a chicken on a fence and a penny have in common? Yeah. I love that. I love that. It's a joke and a riddle all in one. But anyway, the answer is one side is heads, one side's tails. But yeah, that's the answer. That's what they have in common.
Why wouldn't the shrimp share his treasure?
I don't know.
He was a little shellfish.
Gary knew the answer. He was a little shellfish. That's good. We woke Hannah up. Bless her heart. No.
What did the snail say when it was riding on the turtle's back?
Whee! Oh man. But yeah, I don't know. So St. Patrick, all somber, and then we get into
Yeah, we went from St. Patrick to dealing with death to dad jokes.
And but you know, we use humor a lot to deal with stuff that we're very sad about and stuff, just to kind of a coping mechanism, I guess. Even with things that are serious, you know, things that are. Good job, Gary.
Just a little shellfish.
Just a little shellfish. Oh man. Yeah.
So my middle daughter, our middle daughter, loves.
You had her all by yourself, did you?
No, our middle daughter likes all the corny jokes and just funny sarcasm. And I mean, sarcasm is her second or her native language, I think.
Yeah.
Her original tongue is sarcasm. And
we couldn't understand her original tongue.
I've got an uncle that's probably as bad or worse. And when they get together, they don't tell each other jokes. They tell each other punchlines, and the other one has to tell the joke.
And she stumped Larry.
She gets one that he doesn't know every once in a while.
Thank you, Nick. Just wanted to give you a couple laughs today. Figured you needed it. Yeah, we did. Oh,
let's reap what you sow here.
Did you come in, Jareth, and I missed you? Hello, my friend.
Oh, there they are.
I missed them. I'm so sorry I missed you. I'm so excited to get to see you. I want to actually meet you in person.
Guys, if you don't know, we will be at the Okie Homestead Expo Saturday.
On Saturday.
That is the plan.
That, as of right now, that is the plan. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, and nothing. Yeah.
I made all the arrangements to have Hannah do chores.
And our friends are coming.
Friends come help her with the cow.
Yeah.
And so. Yeah, it is early for some people.
Yes, it is early. Very early, and depending on your time zone.
Yes.
Hi, Jennifer. How are you, honey?
So it's almost 8 o'clock here.
Yeah.
And I've worked many jobs where we were rolling pretty good by 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I'm fixing to, here in just shortly, I'm going to have to leave.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. Gary's going to have to leave. I've got to get my cow out and get my calf on my cow. And
yeah. And I appreciate it, all you believers, that you would pray for me today. Just, maybe it's silly to be that way over animals.
It's not.
But
it's not.
I have to deal with some kind of tough things today.
I think all life is precious. And I think part of that, God giving us stewardship and giving us dominion. I know that word has really gotten some bad flack. But that is not just to conquer. That is you are responsible for the care of that animal. And that's the first job one of the first jobs that God gave Adam was to care for the animals.
And I think that the word stewardship probably works a little better for some people. Stewardship is the responsibility end of it.
Yes.
Dominion is the capability end of it.
Okay.
It means we have the power to be good stewards. That's what dominion really means.
Cool.
And so it's important that we take that seriously. And I love livestock, and I don't have a problem eating it at all, and don't have a problem with all that entails. When I take an animal's life to feed me, it's a deep spiritual thing. It's a reminder of Jesus's life, blood that was shed to give me eternal life. And so that is almost a little bit of a joyous thing. But when an animal dies of other things, it's kind of it's a loss of something that I'm producing. But it's also a death. It is a death. It's not a human death, but it is a death.
And there's that helplessness, and I think that's the thing with our friends. They've been so dear and so sweet to us and been so good with our children, been a safe place for our kids, and, been like another set of grandparents for our kids. And I think that,
somebody's going wide. get ready to go live.
Okay. See
See
ya,
ya, Nick.
see ya, Nick. We're gonna wrap it up here just pretty quick so everybody can go over to Nick. But just that helplessness. I think that's the biggest thing, to see them in pain and feel so helpless. But we have to remember that we're not helpless. Prayer, letting them know, praying for them, letting them know we love them. That is not helpless.
Yeah, prayer is not the least you can do.
No,
It's the most you can do.
Yeah. She giggles. I'm not quite a farm girl yet. Life is precious. Yeah.
Yes,
Happy St. Patrick's Day, Julie.
And anybody who, if you've just got in here, please go back and watch the first 10 minutes of this. We talked about Patrick and who he was and what we should keep in mind today as we celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
And Mr. Charles, we wish we could meet you in person too. Yeah, we would love that. So
I don't know that we're going to be in Arkansas this year.
I don't know that we are.
Pryor's not terribly far from Arkansas.
But I don't know where he's at in Arkansas.
Yeah,
Arkansas is a big state.
And we will be in Marshfield, Missouri in August.
We will be in Marshfield. We'll also be in Hannibal, Missouri in August. We'll be in Hannibal. That's our next event that we know for sure we're going to, is Hannibal, which is the first weekend in August. And then the last weekend in August will be in Missouri.
Yeah, there might be some chickens die at that one.
Yeah, there will be.
We're going to teach chicken processing.
Yes, we will be helping to teach chicken processing. Yeah.
It'll be a group effort.
Yep, it'll be a group effort, definitely. Well, we're going to get off here so y'all can go over and see Nick. So Nick at Arizona Highland, AZ Highland, go over and check him out.
He's in Fort Smith.
You're in Fort Smith. Okay, that's a little ways.
Yeah. Went to a big lamb show in Fort Smith once when I was young.
Yes, we're going to be, we're home. We're not, how do I want to put this?
I don't know that we're super fans of them.
Yeah,
some of their stuff's good. We kind of enjoy a few things they've taught.
Yeah.
But
and Doug is they're super kind people, great to meet in person.
Yeah, we met them in person once and they seem really nice people.
Yes.
I got to say, the dressing like you're Amish and not being Amish kind of is a little put off to me. But that's their deal.
That's his deal.
I'm not judging them. I'm just saying that's kind of weird to me.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, and Elijah says we just started to plant seeds. Yay.
Good.
Yeah, so the Homesteading Life Conference, and I'm going to be honest with you, Jennifer, we're going to see friends that we don't get to see. That's the number one. Number two is I want to do the riverboat dinner. Number three, I guess number one is our anniversary. Something cool for our anniversary, something that we'd like to do. So number two,
the homestaying lifestyle is important to us,
yes.
And it is definitely a part of that. There's going to be a lot of things we can learn.
Yes, that was another thing I was going to say. Yeah. Some things we can learn, get into fellowship with like-minded folks.
And we're not anti-Doug and Stacy. We're just not super fangirl over them. But they do have some good stuff, and we are tickled to see them do as well as they do with their channel, and that's awesome.
Yes. Yeah. It would be hard to do a 3-hour trip. We're going to face that tomorrow. We're going to do a 3-hour trip tomorrow. So yeah. But I really enjoy watching Stacy's videos with her. I've learned a lot of fermenting from her. She's very encouraging. She's a great teacher, and I really enjoy. And she's inspired me to do a lot. Her and Joyce Morris, and I'm going to miss somebody. There's been so many people in my life. Those two stand out the most that have really encouraged me to start. Last year, I started so much in my tea garden. And of course, I lost it all and have to restart it. But still, just so much that they've inspired me to do, and skills that I didn't have or that I was intimidated to do. They have, especially Joyce, challenged me. Go ahead and do it, honey. You can do it. You can do it. And part of that, conquering my fear in soap making, fear of the lie in soap making, when I finally got the courage and I had so much encouragement from others to do that several years ago. When I finally conquered that just opened the window to I shouldn't be afraid. I just need to try. And And, failure is learning, not fail. We so negatively look at failure, and it's if you fail, it doesn't mean that you're a failure, that something's wrong with you. It
just means that something didn't work.
It didn't work, and you learned a way not to do something. You still learn something. It's still a learning experience. So I'm trying to learn to take away that negative thoughts process in something that fails. See you later, Brian. Yeah, we're gonna have a blast, Chuck.
We will be at the Okie Homesteading Expo at Pryor this weekend. Anybody that's there Saturday, come say hi to us.
Yep.
And tell Cindy that she's got an ugly husband. I don't know.
We've had that so much. But anyway, I don't know. I think he's handsome.
But yeah.
So thank you all so much. We pray you have a blessed day. Remember, God made you special.
And he loves you very much.
Have a blessed day, y'all.
See you later.